if you want to go away to the Maldives for your honeymoon, if you want to start planning your retirement early, if you want to buy a house in the middle of Chelsea, you've got to start budgeting and working out how your finances are going to work for you. Because if you don't, believe me, you're not going to get there as quick as you hoped. Can I just get a raise of hands? When's the last time someone actually reviewed their finances on their own? Thank you, sir. So there's a couple, but it's quite straightforward to do so. You guys talked a lot about different software programs. I don't and haven't seen any of them before. The one I'm familiar with is Excel. You can put your own budget planner together probably within 10 minutes. And it's important to do it in order to assess what your target is in terms of a monthly cost, but also the nice things we want to buy in life. Who here is married? Yeah.
Yes.
And who's single?
And my wife is here.
And who's single? I imagine you guys have less restriction on what you want to buy and what you want to spend your money on. And for those that have got partners, you may often be told what you need to cut back on in terms of spending. But budgeting, yes, it's a bit boring, but it allows you to get what you want to do. But get everyone involved. You could even get children involved to help them at the start of their life, especially around the teens and what have you. But more importantly, it's important to review your budget. If you get a pay rise, you can have conversations with the people that you want to have them conversations with later. That affects your budget. If you get
cut the microphone off.
If you get made redundant, again, you could get a package. It affects what you're trying to do. If someone offers you to buy a particular ring that you have, or you've received some inheritance, it affects your budgeting. So it's vital that you do look at it probably every 6 months to 12 months. But when something significant changes, again, have a look at what's going on. But obviously, use Google, multiple searches in there, use your apps, go to your bank, use Excel. Loads of different ways in which you can do and assess your own budgeting. So how to manage it, that's another ball game altogether. People here, I assume, use contactless. It's a lot quicker and easier to pay for things these days. Apple Pay, I've started using. There's something called Pay'em as well. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It hasn't taken off as well as Apple Pay. But I'm a bank manager. I can talk to you about your budgeting and your finances and what you want to do. I am probably the worst person for myself. And as much as I know everything about it, I'm rubbish. The way I do it is this. I have pots at home where I take out cash and say, right, that's for that weekend, and that's for that. Because if I just use my card, things just get a bit out of control. You go to the pub tonight and probably spend a bit too much, and all of a sudden your Excel spreadsheet's gone out the window. That's one possibility. Another possibility is keeping things separate. And you can do this through opening different accounts. Just because you have a bank account doesn't mean you can't have a secondary account, or a third account, or a fourth account. Often for couples that we see, they have a joint account just for saving, they have another joint account just for expenses. If you live with a group of friends, again, it's better to have your BT or Sky bill going out of one account rather than just one person taking ownership over it. Because if Jim tells Dom he's not going to pay him, it's going to affect Dom because he wants to go to the pub on the weekend and now he can't because the guy ain't paid the bill. So keep things separate and share the responsibility. Because it's easier said than done by having your budget and then sticking to it. Again, it's probably the hardest thing you need to do, but again, reviewing it every 6 to 12 months is going to help you do that. But use an app on your phone, it's probably the quickest way. Cutting costs. I actually was reading the Daily Mail on my way to work yesterday, and I saw this thing. I've just got the pictures on here. Who has a coffee a day from Starbucks? Okay, so there. How much is an average coffee? I don't drink coffee, but £2. All right. The Daily Mail are giving me one that says £3.69. So maybe you just need to get a larger one. So if you're looking at £3.69 a day, and you have 7 a week, that's £25.80. That's £1,345.29 a year. Apparently that equates to an all-inclusive 7-day break for 2 to the Med. Just for having a coffee.
I just realized how much I'm saving on the guys by having the machine in the office.
But yeah, use your machines in the office. Bring a flask. A flask what costs a tenner. You save a lot more, and then you can go on holiday. That's just one element. Think about gym memberships you may not use. Yeah, got a laugh there. I don't use mine that often either, as you can tell. But again, do you really need it? Look at your phone bills and your upgrades. Don't just listen to what they say over the phone saying, oh, we want to keep you as a customer. Actually look around and shop around, because you can get deals a lot cheaper. There's a website called, what's it called now?
Compare?
No, not Go Compare. Compare the Market, all good comparison sites. But for shopping, Top Cashback. Has anyone ever heard of Top Cashback? You, sir, can you explain what it is?
If you buy something, they give you like discount and money back for something. If you buy something else for more expensive.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you very much. For those that may not have heard, Top Cashback is just a website you go through before you buy something, and it gives you money back. So one example of this was my dad's phone was due an upgrade. He was with Vodafone, and I've used this website since I was at uni, and went through BT Mobile. By signing up for a new deal, my dad got £200 worth of Amazon vouchers just through signing up through that website for BT, but because he went through the website, he got an additional £50. So if we're looking around and using a different website before you just make the purchase on BT's own website, he's made £250. There is so many things out there, buying flights, buying utilities, you name it. There's so many things on there. Honestly, have a look at it, because you could earn some more cash through there as well and get a few more discounts. So that's getting you more stuff. But honestly, review your direct debits, and when things are up for renewal, and go compare the Market, moneysavingexpert.com, all these websites. You could save a lot of money by switching services. There's offers in the bank all the time about switching and the current account switch service. Come January, you'll have some deal in every bank about £200 moved to us. A lot of people do it every single year, and over 5 years you've made £1,000. Other people, no, I'm happy because I've banked there for 30 years. Honestly, look around, because you can make money by not really doing a lot of work. But it's up to you to look at the ways of cutting costs and really assessing whether or not that service is actually worth it. It's got down here your council tax. 400,000 people are charged the wrong amount of council tax per year. So check your bands, you could be paying more. It's nothing you really want to pay for. But again, simple things, you could be saving money over the long run. But paying off any existing debt would be my best advice to give to anybody. Interest rates are so low at the moment on savings, you're not really earning too much, whereas the interest you're paying on any credit facilities will be higher. It's worth paying that off, or looking at paying off your mortgage early if that's something you're able to do. Debt. Quite often, people are, when they come into the branch, they're quite nervous about talking about debt. Some people feel ashamed, some people are embarrassed, some people don't know what to do, and some people spiral out of control when it comes to debt. But there's a lot of help out there for people. You can go into your bank, again, research Google, Citizens Advice. There's many different facilities available to everybody in order to help them with managing their own debt. And what I would say is, don't be afraid of debt. For example, excuse me, lady in the blue, if you wanted to buy a car tomorrow, that costs 10 grand, how long would that take you to save?
A year.
A year? Okay, what if I said you could have it tomorrow?
She has a good job. Yeah, that's something more to save.
If I said
Well
you could have
done.
it tomorrow,
Well done, well done. This is Brompton
tomorrow,
close.
and it costs you £7.40 on top a month to get it, would you rather wait a year or take it now? you would take it now. Honestly, look at rates out there, because it can take a long time to save on saving rates. At the minute, debt, if you manage it effectively, it can work well for you. But if you don't, it will ruin you. But if you look at where to get your advice, go into your local branch, or now we have live chat on our sites, and I'm sure Barclays and the rest do as well. Just talk to people about it. And for children, people going to uni, credit cards and stuff, it's a lot to kind of take on board when you're 18 or what have you, even 26, 30, 40, people who've never had cards or whatever. You do need to really have a proper discussion about how to use it moving forward, because if you don't, it'll impact your credit score significantly, and we'll come on to that later on. So other ways to manage your debt. Unsecured borrowing. So if I've got, for example, 3 different credit cards, they'll have all 3 different interest rates, 3 different banks. You now have got Tesco coming into the market, you've got, I don't know, there's so many credit cards out there, I won't be able to tell you who they all are. But they'll all have different rates, ranging from probably 17.9% to 30 odd, plus you've got Wonga and all these other things that have astronomical APRs attached to them. But if you think about your budgeting and what you can afford every month, if you consolidated all your credit card payments per month and put it into one personal loan, I'm pretty sure you'd save money, like putting it into one payment. That way you actually pay it off and you have more disposable income. So if you do have cards, or your family have cards, and you have loads that you're paying off, look at consolidating it into one personal loan, because as I said, I'm pretty sure you will save a hell of a lot of money over the long run. Secured borrowing is around releasing equity in your home for those that do own their property. If you're looking to extend your kitchen, or I don't own mine, so I'm not really sure what you're going to be looking to do it with. But you can release equity on your property, and with the mortgage rates out there at the moment, it's probably a better way of doing so than taking a homeowner loan, taking a loan or a credit card payment. Finance options for cars are a common one as well, and furniture. Again, look at the alternatives out there for you, because if you go into a dealership and they offer you the first thing, you want to take that thing out of the shop at that moment in time. It could cost you a hell of a lot more than if you just gave it an hour by just checking on your phone. The other thing we have on here is third-party mandates. We normally see this for 2 different types of clients. One is for students, and the other is for elderly people. So grandparents or people in their 70s plus, whereby someone else can manage their account. So we had a relationship with the Alzheimer's Society. When you get to a certain age and you lose your memory, you don't know what you're paying. People will call you up and fraud is rife. It's quite scary actually. But having a third-party mandate will allow you to control that person's account. There's certain things you can and can't do on it, but reviewing their statements, reviewing what's going in and out, checking what 6,000 cash withdrawals happen for, you can get access to that information. Because those that don't, it does turn into a bit of a mess when you try to track it back. And unfortunately, sometimes there's no way of getting it back if you left it too late. And then for the students, depending on your preference, quite a few parents are quite sceptical about what their children are going to spend when they go to uni. So they like to have some control over how much they're going to spend. I'll leave that to you to think about, but it's possible that you could access what they're probably spending on booze instead of books up at uni. Joint accounts, again, you've got to be careful with joint accounts, because if you have a credit facility on there, you'll be both liable if one of them decides that they know they're going to break up and take the £4,000 overdraft and leave you with it. And then if they don't repay it, it affects your credit score.
This is the reality now.
It is a reality. Match.com, that's what that created. Basic accounts. Some accounts don't allow you to have credit facilities. If you feel you can't manage debt or you don't want to have that temptation, I guess, you could always look at a basic account with whatever bank you're at, because they'll just restrict it at 0. But again, that does impact your credit score. But if you're not concerned about that, a basic would certainly help you manage what you have. And power of attorney, again, more so for those that are losing memory more in most cases. There's 3 different types. But again, bring them into your bank, get them actioned as quickly as possible, because it does have quite a big impact on your family's or yourselves' accounts. Credit reports, the fun part. Anyone enjoy reading their credit report? No, didn't think so. Don't enjoy reading mine. But you've got different providers out there that offer free credit reports. It's worth having a look once in a while. The easiest way to explain a credit report is when you go to the doctor, they've already got your doctor's notes. So if you've got an issue, the doctor can read through and say, right, this happened a year ago, blah, blah, blah. With your credit report, we don't actually get to see it in the bank, and I have no idea what it is. But when we do any application, your credit report is automatically triggered. So if you've got a negative history on your credit report, it won't tell me, it just won't allow that facility to go through. So it's vital that you do check things on there. If you've ever been a victim of fraud, that could negatively impact your credit report. So we talk about here what impacts your credit rating. Fraud is one. 2 is if you move homes quite often. If you're not in a settled address, that can impact your credit report. If you're not on the voters roll, that can impact your credit report. Missing payments, missing direct debits. Again, things that you don't really want to do. And what to make it better? Look at a credit facility and make sure you follow it. Stay in the same address for a couple of years. Not in everyone's control all the time, don't get me wrong. But if you do have a poor credit score, it can affect you for quite a few years. If you miss 3 payments in a row, it's going to be on there for about 6 years or so. So look at your credit reports. It's free on Experian and Equifax to get one. So if you haven't checked it out already, have a check. And if you haven't looked at it in a while, it could do with some nighttime reading to pop you to sleep. So here's the key factor. In a survey of more than 1,000 households, 53% said they'd never checked their credit score or obtained a credit report. And if there's errors on there, you can get them off. And if you have, I signed off a mortgage yesterday, if there's things on your credit report which were nothing to do with yourself, it can affect your mortgage. But if you have a valid reason for whatever that was, or you've got ongoing discussions with that company, you bring that in, we can look at that and assess the application without taking that into consideration. Covered that. Saving for a brighter future, retirement savings. You've got guys here talking about pensions later. I'll leave them to discuss that. But again, saving now, if you take out the average pension, it's not going to get you very far. And finally, and something really to think about, protecting what's important to you. You can see the facts on the screen behind me. I'm not going to read them out, but what I want you to really think of between now and the next month, I would say, is look at what you have in place. Because if something was to happen to yourself and you couldn't go to work, what would your family do and what would you do? Because I'm sure you've got a million expenses going out every month. If you haven't got the money coming in, how are you going to support everything you've ever wanted to do? There are plans out there for you. They're going to cost, but there's plans out there to protect you for the future. And as horrible as that sounds, this happens to many, many, many people. And the best thing about working in a branch is when we've done policy for someone, whether that be life cover, so if someone's passed away and they're on the mortgage, the person comes in and they tell us, thank you for talking to me about it, because if they hadn't had that in place, the struggle that your partner or children or whoever it's going to be, the struggle they go through is extortionate. Have a think about this, because as much as every 3 minutes someone will have a heart attack, we don't want one, but it could happen. So have a look at the plans that are out there. And the last thing I'm going to say is use your phones to your advantage. You've all got your phones, you've all got your smartphones. Download a budget app, download your banking app, and just keep control of what your finances are, because it will help you maintain what you're looking to do in the future. And that's everything from me.